So I've done a pretty good job of staying away from topics that pertain to current events. But I started to realize that sometimes current events really shape what I happen to be thinking of that day or that week or what happens to be on my mind. So today I'm going to talk about an issue that is sort of brought into the light because of what's going on right now in Ferguson, Missouri. And but I'm not actually going to talk about that. I'm more going to talk about the issue of race tension and where I feel like that's developed over my lifetime and what I feel like we need to do going forward. So sometimes the media can fill us with a lot of different angles on an issue that's going on, and sometimes it's really frustrating to watch people who aren't really even attached to a situation argue on a news station with each other and get really passionate about it. But I think sometimes those are also really important to watch because they make you think. They make me think a lot when I hear people arguing very passionately from both sides of the equation. And basically, what I wanted to say was I was watching a news special yesterday on the Ferguson, Missouri issue, and it was a panel of people, but the audience who was there in the studio was also getting really involved in the discussion, and people were making comments about how racial profiling and racial discrimination has changed the way it presents itself, and now it's more subconscious, it's more hidden. There are less people who consciously hate people of other race or consciously feel like they should be superior. I'm not saying that those people aren't still out there, because I come from a small town and I know that they are totally out there. But I think we're definitely, I completely agree with that, we are getting to a time where I want to say the hate, maybe not the hate, the stereotyping mentality is more subconscious. And I used to think that that was a forward step, and I still sort of think it's a forward step. But I sometimes wonder on how we're going to be able to overcome that. How do you get a person to realize that they are racially stereotyping someone? And I hear it all the time in my friends or people that I talk to. They say like little things or make little comments, or and they probably don't realize what they're doing. They probably don't think of themselves as a racist, but the fact of the matter is that when you are a minority in a place, your experience is much different, and you're very aware of little comments or gestures or actions that people take that make you feel singled out. And I really, really know what that feels like personally. And so I think going forward, I guess like I've been thinking about this a lot. I thought about it a lot last summer too, when there were a lot of discussions on the news about the Trayvon Martin case. And I think not enough of us are recognizing that it is a problem beyond what is happening right now in current events or needs to be happening. The very fundamental like stereotypes mentality, it still exists. And on social media, you tend to see like the louder people talking. So some people are like, standing up for this and standing up for that. But, I always wonder, the people who don't hit the like button, the people who don't say anything, what's going on in their minds. And I feel like that might be really important. And so I think it's really important. It is important to engage in social media, but it's even more important to engage in discussion with your friends and families on these kinds of topics. And we have a long way to go. And I guess it takes a lot more maybe than we realize to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. And I don't know, I'm kind of having trouble forming like what has been going through my mind, but I've hoped I've kind of conveyed it. I feel, I guess, I don't know, frustrated but sort of at a loss because I don't know where to look for a solution, as I hear like these mothers talking about, oh, you know, African American mothers talking about how do we raise our sons and how do we teach them to be, you know, how do you make sure they're going to be okay? And on many other sides, I think I've heard stuff like that, and I don't know where we go, but I guess the message for this week is to engage in discussion about these kinds of hard topics. I know you're not supposed to talk about politics because it causes arguments, but I think with your friends and family, it's important to engage and probably will cause less of an argument and more of a thoughtful process than if you're like commenting on social media with a stranger, because then you'll argue because you don't really know each other that well. Okay, so that's basically my thought for today. Bye.
To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Nelson Mandela.